People totally missed it. The mainstream media ignored it, but Trump just essentially declared war on the globalists. His point was crystal clear. We are in an existential war, and the battle lines have been drawn. And this past week, world leaders filed into the United Nations, each giving their little speeches for the cameras. Netanyahu tried to give a speech playing his victim card once again, but no one wanted to listen to him. They're sick of it. They all left. The entire room walked out on him. But everyone was listening to Donald Trump. Everyone. Trump got up and detonated a political nuclear bomb. He didn't just criticize the globalists. He essentially declared war on them. And the media, they're totally asleep about it. They totally ignored it. They have no clue how consequential what he said is. They cared more about Trump's escalator not working than the speech. What Trump delivered wasn't just another speech. It was a warning. It was a rallying cry. It was a great reset, if you will. If you don't see the tidal wave that's coming, you're going to be swept up by it, because Trump just made it clear we're not just in a policy fight right now. This is survival for the United States of America. This is an existential war. Trump spoke for nearly an hour and basically announced the end of the current world order. Zero in-depth coverage of it. No headlines, nothing. So today I'm going to break it all down for you, because what he said is going to impact your life, your savings, your family's future, what the future of this country actually looks like. And if you're not prepared, you're going to be left behind. Our children are going to be left behind. And remember, existential wars mean you can't lose. The government won't allow it to happen. I mean, President Putin says this about the war versus Ukraine. It's an existential war for Russia. So NATO is not going to win that thing. And the same thing for the United States of America. It means they will do whatever it takes to win. It's like a dog being backed into a corner. I always look at these moments as enormous opportunities that are about to open up, the kind of opportunities we only see like once in a generation, sort of like, like Bitcoin back in 2013. So let's set the stage here. The hyper-globalist era of 1993 to 2024 is over, rock bottom. Now comes the climb out as gold, explodes to all-time highs, silver inches closer, the dollar starts to wobble, dollar is really collapsing. Trump just explained where the fight is right now and where the opportunities are. Like if you're an American thinking about, starting a new business, or your child is about to graduate from college, or you're about to renovate your house. So he really laid out like all of the breadcrumbs now for where the United States of America currently sits and where it's going. Now, Trump started his speech after that broken escalator and, someone messed with his teleprompter. He went off script. He started speaking right from the heart.
I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless. And that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
Now, Trump's existential war on the globalists on the Soros agenda began with a simple assertion. American sovereignty comes first. In Biden's 4 years, Soros, Obama, and their puppet network orchestrated an invasion on U.S. soil to permanently alter this country's demographics. Trump made it very clear, closing the border is priority number one.
On our southern border, we have successfully repelled a colossal invasion, and for the last 4 months, and that's 4 months in a row, the number of illegal aliens admitted and entering our country has been zero.
And then he went after the United Nations itself, after making sure the globalists heard loud and clear that their main scheme that is working in Europe will not succeed on U.S. soil. And he went after the United Nations, calling it a globalist machine, draining the American taxpayers. A corrupt organization that funded illegal aliens crossing our border, even giving them debit cards. And the United Nations is trying to enslave the very people who fund it, the American taxpayers. You and I are footing the bill.
But later I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous, tremendous potential, but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential.
Trump then said what you and I think millions of other people, if not billions of others, have been holding up, at least inside of us, for the last 2 decades. And we've had no one to sort of speak for us on the world's largest stage before. The United Nations isn't solving problems. It's creating them. He said this.
The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders. In 2024, the UN budgeted $372 million in cash assistance to support an estimated 624,000 migrants journeying into the United States. Think of that. The UN is supporting people that are illegally coming into the United States, and then we have to get them out.
And then Trump defined the single greatest globalist tactic ever invented, better than bombs or cyber warfare. He said the greatest war tactic in history is uncontrolled illegal migration.
Is the number one political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined. The United Nations is funding an assault on Western countries and their borders.
And here it was, the declaration of war, clear, concise, and time will tell what the globalists will try next.
America belongs to the American people, and I encourage all countries to take their own stand in defense of their citizens as well. You have to do that because I see it. I'm not mentioning names. I see it, and I can call every single one of them out. You're destroying your countries. They're being destroyed. And
right at this point in his speech, this is the line that MAGA voters have been waiting to hear. If Europe wants to die, let it die alone. America will not fund the globalist agenda anymore. NATO is crumbling. America is no longer the piggy bank of Europe. We are done.
Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately. This cannot be sustained.
I'm not exaggerating when I say that Trump sees the globalists as arch enemies and Soros' NGO empire as a cancer. Here's his final warning to Europe.
I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
This means American taxpayer dollars will not keep sinking our deficit. Step one, end the invasion of illegal immigrants run by the radical left.
Any system that results in the mass trafficking of children is inherently evil. Yet that is exactly what the globalist migration agenda has done, and it's what it's all about.
Up to this point, Trump laid out the defense strategy, close the border, make government more efficient, but then he pivoted. He started laying out his plan to rebuild America, and this is where the mother lode of opportunity lives right now. Abundant energy, AI supremacy, blockchain, all of it, rebuilding our infrastructure.
Energy is another area where the United States is now thriving like never before. We're getting rid of the falsely named renewables.
Now, you know, on my channel, I've been one of the most vocal news outlets that told you all along the green energy policies is total junk.
By the way, they're a joke. They don't work. They're too expensive. They're not strong enough to fire up the plants that you need to make your country great.
Global warming is a hoax, a total globalist tax collecting scam run by Klaus Schwab type monsters with Al Gore and all these other career lunatics meant to take everything from you. Trump called it out to their faces.
Global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. Then they said global warming will kill the world. But then it started getting cooler. So now they could just call it climate change because that way they can't miss. It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion.
How dare you?
Soros and his minions are fully exposed. Retribution is coming. That's why you're seeing tariffs and a flight from the US dollar right now. The next crisis will be sovereign nations failing. Trump's warning them right now.
The whole thing is crazy. The primary effect of these brutal green energy policies has not been to help the environment, but to redistribute manufacturing and industrial activity from developed countries that follow the insane rules that are put down to polluting countries that break the rules and are making a fortune. They're making a fortune. European electricity bills are now 4 to 5 times more expensive than those in China.
So there you have it. Trump literally told every globalist elite that their rule book and playbook is no longer deep state, that you, me, and millions, if not billions, are now fully aware and we are fully awakened to it. And you might mark my words, from here on, this just gets crazier because the deep state is now fully exposed. Everyone understands the playbook. overrun national borders with insane amount of illegal immigration, convince industrialized powerhouses to go green and bankrupt in the name of clean air. Trump is squarely focused on avoiding this suicidal path. He's unleashing dramatic energy capabilities to fuel the AI race that will determine the 21st century, love it or hate it. And that's where my attention is right now, because the generational opportunities will be in the nexus of blockchain, AI, the next level of compute power in the United States of America. And right now we're neck and neck, or maybe getting crushed by China. The first American industrial revolution was in combining railways, steel production, oil discoveries, and became some of the richest men alive by doing that, by integrating these three things, allowing for the birth of mass production, the building of infrastructure that made America's industrial capacity second to none in the world. Then you had the fall of the Soviet Union. A new American-led revolution began with the information age, the combination of the World Wide Web, the internet, software explosion, personal computers, microprocessing chips. They brought infinite knowledge into the screens of billions of people, the advent of supercomputers, social media platforms. So we had that information age revolution. Again, companies and investors saw this early on and positioned in the MAG7, the MAG7, for example. It changed their lives forever. It's estimated right now that a full third of NVIDIA employees are now millionaires. And right now we are entering the third American-led revolution. We've got the CCP breathing down our necks, the AI revolution, which relies heavily on computing power, feeding data, sophisticated algorithms. It's not only massive and life-changing, it's a revolution that's happening right now, and Trump knows this. He's been speaking about it before he became president. Again, love it or hate it, it's coming. So Trump is right. This is an existential war for the United States, and who is going to win it? I don't know. But at least Trump is laying it out there, and we will see. So that's the news update part of today's video. I hope I provided some value by going through his speech line by line for you, since the damn media, the mainstream media, fully ignored it. So if I did, please subscribe to the channel. And now I want to tell you about today's sponsor, which is tied directly to everything that Trump just said. We're now entering the third American-led revolution, and this is only in its infancy right now. I can't stress enough how much I believe today's video is critical. So please pay attention to this. I found one of the most compelling opportunities that I've ever come across, and I want to be one of the first to showcase it to you. So in my opinion, this is a potential game changer. This is an opportunity that I've been studying, which includes an asset that Barry Silbert, who's the self-made billionaire, he's the founder of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. He says that this is the next Bitcoin, in his words. And he likens it to finding Bitcoin back in 2013 or 2014. And the reason is that it marries and merges perfectly the AI revolution, the decentralization phenomenon that we're currently in on the blockchain, and the supremacy of open source technologies, open source code technologies. Again, in my personal opinion. So when self-made billionaire Barry Silbert, who put $200,000 in Bitcoin when it was only $7 and $8 per coin, can you imagine? Oh my gosh. And he was an early investor in Coinbase, and then he founded Grayscale, the first Bitcoin trust. He started saying that he found the next Bitcoin, and he likened it to Bitcoin back in 2013 and 2014. I didn't dismiss it. I actually went on a hunt. I wanted to know more about what the heck he was talking about here.
I draw all these parallels to the things I was seeing with Bitcoin back in 2012. I'm now seeing with Bitensor today.
He is, in fact, so bullish on this new blockchain asset that he says it could one day rival Bitcoin, even though its market cap is just $3.1 billion compared to Bitcoin, which is now $2.1 trillion. Nearly 900 times its size. This blockchain asset is so new in general that even buying the token is not easy. So to make it more accessible, there are just a handful of publicly traded companies that are now in the business of actually buying the token on their balance sheet. And then they're staking it, and then they're validating the chain, and they're investing it in the actual subnets on it. So the asset itself is called Bitensor, and the token is TAO. So how all of this comes together is today's sponsor, which is Next Gen Digital Platforms. And they've got a US ticker symbol right here on your screen, NXTDF. It's available on Fidelity, Schwab, Interactive Brokers, E-Trade. By the way, just began to implement its business model and to focus on Bitensor, and just 2 days ago bought 444 Tau tokens itself. That I've spent dozens of hours really learning about BitSoar, and the best way to describe it is this, and I want to preface this and say this is my opinion, but in the past decade alone, Ethereum, for instance, is estimated to have created over 150,000 millionaires. That's based on their wallet addresses now that have over $1 million in value. Another report says a total of 241,000 crypto millionaires have been created in total, which is amazing. So we're now entering the biggest revolution, and I believe similar-sized moves could be next. In fact, Barry Silbert, the self-made crypto billionaire I've been telling you about, says BitSoar is like Bitcoin, like it was back in 2013. So, next-gen digital platforms just went public with a 4-sectoral business model that marries AI, decentralization, compute power, with a focus on BitSoar, which billionaire Barry Silbert compares to Bitcoin in 2013. So NextGen will also acquire Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tau tokens to its balance sheet. But on top of that, it's going to issue debentures to attract family offices and money managers that own these assets to start accepting shares of NXTDF in exchange for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Tau tokens. Secondly, NextGen Digital Platforms is looking to begin mining. So the company is looking at ways to stake, validate, invest in BitSoar network, be it through contributing to compute power or by investing in the subnets themselves. So NextGen Digital Platforms is also engaged with high-performing teams leading attractive businesses that are building infrastructure for this AI blockchain revolution. They've selected several targets already with the help of expert advisors already appointed to the board. And what I'm talking about here is only in its infancy. I mean, this is huge in my opinion. It's like a baby right now. Jensen Huang, CEO of NVIDIA, predicts that AI will create more millionaires in the coming 5 years than the internet did in 20 years. So BitSoar and its token Tau is a blockchain project that created a decentralized marketplace for AI. And I've heard some of the most successful blockchain entrepreneurs say that BitSoar is to AI what Bitcoin was for money. So billionaire Barry Silbert is personally betting that it would become one of the largest, he says top 3, by the way. So NextGen Digital Platforms, their ticker symbol here on your screen, is one of the first companies that are focusing on BitSoar. So if NextGen Digital Platforms, being this early to the revolution, can integrate its operation to BitSoar successfully by investing in Tau, but also contributing to the network with compute, staking, validating, and investing in subnets, then the potential is substantial in my view. That's why I wanted to bring it to your attention. This may go down as the most important and significant video that I've ever produced because that's how early we are right now. Institutions can't even access it easily, let alone the subnets on the network. And BitSoar is before its first ever halving. That's such a hard word to say, halving. Yeah, we haven't even seen it have its first ever halving. Anyways, guys, no other media is covering this. I wanted to share it with you so you can go and start doing your own research on this. Spend some time deep diving into this. Once you start uncovering this, you're going to, I think your mind will be blown in my opinion, okay? Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.